women's 800 freestyle. And there will be 4 heats in this one, because 16 lengths of the pool for the ladies. So away we go with the first of the 4 heats. The full field. 7 swimmers. Niamh Tierney of first in lane 1. Claire Thompson of Finns in 2. Katie Shanahan of City of Glasgow in 3. Taylor Bartlett of East Kilbride in 4. Nicole Reynolds of Dundee City Aquatics in 5. Ellie Palmer of first in 6. And Lisa Miller of East Kilbride in 7. So a nice start in lane 5 from Dundee City Aquatics swimmer Nicole Reynolds. So she is setting the early pace here. Winner in the Midlands distance meet a few weeks ago in Dundee. Was 6th here at the Edinburgh International in March. And that's where she did her entry time, 9:53. So that was two and a bit months ago. We'll see whether she's been able to progress on that here. Certainly setting her stall with a lead of 3-4 meters here over the youngster Katie Shanahan. Just 12 this year, the youngest of the field. West District champion both long and short course. Katie's entry time 10:02. So around 9 seconds behind Nicole on paper. Just a metre or so behind Katie is East Kilbride's Taylor Bartlett in lane 4. And also up there Lisa Miller, her teammate, in lane 7. As we come to 200. 2:21.37. And a pretty big advantage for Nicole. You can see there 5-6 meters over Katie, who's now got a body length ahead of Taylor Bartlett. And that's in 1, 2, 3. Coming up to the 250. 2:58 at 250, so the lead 3.5 seconds. For some reason the scoreboard is showing Taylor Bartlett as having the lead, but that's certainly not the case. She's in 3rd place here. I'm sure they'll get that sorted out before too long. So the splits that are coming up on the scoreboard at the moment anyway have been not those that Nicole is coming in, so I'll try and keep you straight on that. You can see Nicole just coming to the 300 now, and for whatever reason not stopping the clock there. 3:35.13. So she's pacing just around 74 seconds. Maintaining that advantage, with Katie Shanahan still clear in 2nd. Taylor Bartlett now has Claire Thompson not too far behind her. So Nicole trying to keep this going. This next turn will be the halfway point. Katie Shannon, very promising youngster from the City of Glasgow programme. Having a very nice swim. So halfway point, Nicole Reynolds going through 4:49.73. So again, around 1:14 pace, just slightly slower this time. About half a second back on the previous split, but comfortably clear of the rest of the field. Still, the scoreboard's slightly mixed up, so apologies that you're not getting the accurate splits here for Nicole at the front of this race. Don't quite know what's going on there, but they think that Taylor is leading the way. So Nicole then coming up to 500. 6:03.86. 5 seconds, well, 4.5 second advantage over Katie Shanahan. And then fairly similar gap, maybe slightly more, to Claire Thompson. And alongside her, Taylor Bartlett. So just keep an eye on whether Katie Shannon can close the gap at all. It was 4.5 seconds. Just see what it is at the 50. So it is gradually reducing. It's down to 4 seconds now with 2:50 to go. So Katie got half a second off it in that last length. See if she can keep that going. Should need more than that, in fact, to really close. Should have to be closing it at a faster rate, but well, let's see, because these things can change. So through 7:18.26. So we're definitely down to these two now. Only swimmers in shot. Coming up 150 to go. And you do get the sense that this gap is continuing to shrink. Let's check as they go through that turn. 7:55 for Nicole. 7:59. So it's still around that 4 second mark. So it's been like that now for the last couple of lengths. So Nicole, you certainly feel, is odds on for this one. Just checking on her pace, we're looking at something in the 9:45 range, perhaps. Nicole's entry time 9:53, so that would be a nice 8 second improvement. 100 to go. 8:32.05. And just shy of 1:14 pacing. So these two coming up towards their final turn, led by the Dundee girl. She goes through in 9:08. Katie 9:12, so still just that 4 second gap. That's been very steady, and there see the legs starting to go now down this final length, and the stroke rate increasing, and Nicole clearly has something left in the tank to give here. So I think Coach is going to be pretty happy with this. So entry time 9:53.77. You can see the clock there coming at just over the 9:40. So stops at 9:41.81. So excellent swim for Nicole. So I was predicting 9:45. So that was a good improvement on that. So 9:53 entry time, improves by 12 seconds. Katie Shanahan second, 9:47.93. Neve Tierney finishing strongly. Take third, 10:01.17, just going past Claire Thompson and Taylor Bartlett. So we're ready to go with heat number 2. The field here, Katie Golder of Midlothian in lane 1, Brooke Laurie of Highland Swim Team in 2, Kirsten Calder of First in 3, Abby Mitchell of East Kilbride in 4, Hayley Collier of Carnegie in 5, Kirsty Griffiths, City of Glasgow in 6, Elle McMillan of St Thomas in 7, and Rosie Matheson of East Kilbride in 8. Edge times here 9:30 up to 9:47. So down the second length. The action in lanes 5, 6 and 7, particularly Elle McMillan in lane 7. She's off to a good start. So we saw a nice swim from a Dundee swimmer. We're just going a bit up the road to Arbroath here for Elle. And she's going to have the advantage through the 100, 105.96. Second place, Hayley Collier. Third, Kirsty Griffiths. The Midlothian swimmer Katie Golder also up there in the green cap there at the bottom of your screen. So in lane 4, East Kilbride's Abby Mitchell. So those 4 contesting second behind Elle McMillan. 141.68 at the 150 for Elle. Elle, another one who did her entry time at this pool in the Edinburgh International. She was third, 9:42.57 her entry time. So we'll see whether she can sustain this pace and also post a good improvement. Certainly has come through very nicely this year. 2:18.18, so around 3 seconds faster than the first heat at quarter distance. Second now Kirsty Griffiths, City of Glasgow swimmer. She was 6th in national age groups. So was Elle for that matter in her age group. Elle in 14 age group. Kirsty a year older. Then just behind them, Abby Mitchell, Hayley Collier. 2 in the 16-year-old age group. Of course, this is not an age group event, an open event, so forget about that. Focus on the times and the swims. They'll be focusing on the process here, the techniques, the race tactics, probably more than the time itself. Signs maybe now that Kirsty Griffiths is eating into Elle McMillan's lead. So at the 300, 3:31, 3:33, just a second and a quarter between them. And then nothing in it for third. Abby and Ailey. And just behind them, at the bottom of your screen, Britt Lorry just ahead of Katie Golder. Brooke was fourth in national age groups in the 15-year-old age group, North District age group champion. Katie Golder doesn't do this event too often. She was bronze medalist East District age groups. Had a very strong national age groups without quite making the podium on a whole range of events. Part of a great group of swimmers in Midlothian. But it's all changed at the front now because Kirsty Griffiths has hit the lead. And she goes through 4:45.43. About a second clear now of Elle McMillan. Split around 1:13.5. Also keep your eyes on Abby Mitchell. She's starting to make a move. She's pulled away from Ailey Collier and Britt Lorry and is starting to challenge Elle McMillan for second. So there she is in lane 4, just behind Elle. But Kirsty Griffiths with the advantage now, about 1.7. Kirsty 6th in national age groups in the 15 age group. Silver medalist in West District's long course at East Kilbride. So at 500 we'll get a pretty good idea, think of her pacing, 5:58.77. So just over 1:13 pace. And a lead now of about 2.5 seconds for her. We're looking at something in the mid 9:30s. You would think for Kirsty entered 9:38, so every chance of getting inside that by 2 or 3 seconds maybe. Elle maybe just suffering from having gone out a bit too fast. Always difficult to judge your pacing in these some mid-season meets when you're not rested. And Elle will be looking to hold on to second, and because with her inch time 9:42, she'll be hoping to improve on that. But Kirsty is definitely edging away from her. 3/4 distance, 7:12.36. Again around 1:13.5, and the lead now over 3 seconds. Going up by maybe a second or so per 100. Also worth keeping an eye here on Britt Lorry in lane 2. She's making progress. So it's turning into a tight contest for second place. Ailey Collier not far away either. And then just behind them, Kirsten Calder. Kirsty Griffiths around 5 meters now clear of all that. So it has to be installed as the hot favourite now. Coming up to the bell. So through 700, 8:26.38. So we were talking about maybe a time of 9:35, so she'd need around a 1:09 to get that. That would be quite a strong improvement on her pacing. So maybe that is a little bit of an ask. 9:38, as I say, was her entry time. You think she should get under that. The question is by how much. Also very much a question about who's going to get second here. But Brooke Laurie is right up with Elle Macmillan now as they turn for the final time, just a tenth apart. And you'd think maybe Brooke has the momentum there. So you see her in the dark blue cap in lane 2 at the bottom of your screen. And I think she has now just gone past Elle Macmillan. Nobody's going to catch Kirsty Griffiths then. She really needs to dig in hard here in these last 10 metres. Pushing hard to come in to the final 5. See the clock there, just 9:35's gone. But we come in 9:38.12. So just looking at her entry time, it was 9:38.30. So did get under it just by 1800ths. 9:42. Elle Macmillan, in fact, showing second, which is a little bit of a surprise there. She really dug in down that last length to wasn't going to lose that second place. So well done to Elle. He improves by half a second. Laurie 9:42.50. So she's just outside her entry time. So some solid swims there with nothing spectacular, but solid swims. 9:38.12, the winning time. Kirsty Griffiths, City of Glasgow. Confirmation there for you. So we move on to Heat 3. So the 8 swimmers involved in this one: Karen Reid of South Ayrshire in 1, Mari High, University of Stirling in 2, Katie Taylor of Heart of Midlothian in 3, Eddie Grant, Dundee City Aquatics in 4, Lauren Pirouet of First in 5, Shannon Patterson, Swim West Lothian in 6, Iona McLeod, Dundee City Aquatics in 7, Bobby Gregg, East Kilbride in lane 8. So a quick reprise of Erin Robertson's tweet there for you. Get those tweets in. Hashtag EDOpen16. I think I've got that sus now, what it is. Hashtag EDOpen16 there on your screen. Sure you want to wish all the best to your favourite swimmer. Let's get those tweets coming in. We'll bring them up. So through the hundreds. Ailey Grant leads the way, 104.96. What a member of the Dundee City Aquatics scene. Youth Development Squad member. Just on her shoulder, Katie Taylor in lane 3, followed by Mari High in 2. Ailey Grant, 17-year-old this year. 6th in national age groups. It's a tough age group to be in. You get up against the top swimmers in that age group. 17 and over. So to get up to 6th was a good achievement. Katie Taylor looking good. She's a year younger. Silver medalist at national age groups. East District champion. Another Youth Development Squad member. Still right beside her, the experienced Mari High. Silver medalist here last summer in the Scottish Summer Meet. Ashley paced slightly faster in national age groups than her entry time, 9:23. Did a 9:21 at Tollcross, Mari, where she was 9th. Again in that senior age group. And then Just behind her, Karen Reid. This is definitely not familiar territory for Karen. Usually see her in the sprints, so 800 freestyle, a very rare outing for her. We'll see how she does. She's in fourth place at the moment. Through 300, 3:22.80. So pacing now about 69 seconds. Around 9 seconds faster than the second heat at this stage. The gap just over a body length between Ailey and Katie. Very much the action in the gallery side. Lanes 1 through to 4. Just this Friday evening session, really, I suppose, the appetizer for these East District Open Championships, as things will hot up tomorrow. We have heats in the morning and afternoon, and finals in the evening. I hope you'll join us for that if you can't be present here at the Commonwealth Pool. Maybe you can if you're just back from work after a long, hard week, then welcome. Why not make your way down tomorrow morning to come and see it? These excellent swimmers in the flesh. 4:32.80, exactly a 1:10 pace there for the 400. So slipped by a second or so from the previous split. So we're looking at something in the low 9 minutes. 9:13 Ailey's entry time. So we're going to be there or thereabouts, I think. These top three gradually pulling away. Karen Reid is now getting a bit of a challenge from Lauren Pirouet and the youngster Iona McLeod, another from Dundee Set Aquatics, just 13 this year. Youth Development Squad member. She was National Age Group champion, so will be interesting to see what she can pace at compared with the 9:23 she's entered at, which was her National Age Group time. Has these much older swimmers to pace herself against. She's in that contest for fourth place, the three-way contest. To the left of your screen. Still, it's very much as you were. Ailey Grant, Katie Taylor, Mari High, taking us through 5:50. Katie Taylor is sticking with Ailey Grant here. So maybe putting ourselves in position for a challenge in the final 200. So we'll keep an eye on that, what the gap is. So coming up to 600. Ailey goes through 6:53.28. 6:54.91 for Katie, so the gap is about 1.7. And there's definite signs here that Katie is closing the gap. They're around 2.5 seconds separating them on paper. So that's not much in the context of an 800. And they're going to be pretty well matching each other, you would think, in the latter stages here. So the gap is down to around about a body length. Ailey, you would think, will be pretty conscious of where Katie is. Certainly Mari High is going to have to settle for third now. It's very much a two-way race now between Ailey and Katie. Through the bell, 8:04.33, plays 8:05.89, a second and a half the gap. Around 1:11 pace there, so another of those would be 9:15. 9:13 Ailey's entry time, so a sprint finish should get her there. Katie entered 9:15. So again, you'd think she'll be there or thereabouts. Doesn't look like she's going to catch Ailey Grant. You thought for a moment she might. But coming to the final turn, Ailey looks to be in control still. 8:39 against 8:41. 2 seconds the gap. I don't think Katie will be able to close that down this final 50. So let's see whether they can nick under their entry time. 9:13.20 for Ailey. 9:15.59 for Katie. Pushing hard now, getting the legs going, getting the stroke rate up, just not leaving anything behind here. And a good solid swim, 9:13.34 Ailey Grant. So pretty much bang on her entry time at 9:18.20. Katie Taylor takes second, 9:15.48, so she does nick under her time by a tenth. And Mari Hyde takes third, 9:18, so she improves on her entry time. And also improves on her time at National Age Group, so job well done for her. Iona McLeod, 9:23.52, finishes in fourth, so again, right on her entry time, the time she did at National Age Group. So some good solid swimming once again there in Heat 3. One more heat of distance swimming to go. And away they go. As you can see, we've got an empty lane in lane 5, so Hannah Miley deciding that she's not up for an 800 today. Of course, a very accomplished distance swimmer. Swam this event in the Commonwealth Games for Scotland. But she's not here, so let's focus on those that are. We have Orla Adams of Geary M1, Nikki Miller of East Kilbride in 2, Meg Finnan also of East Kilbride in 3, Kerry Ann Payne of Warrender in 4, Sophie Smith of St Thomas in 6, Hayley Duthie, City of Aberdeen in 7, and Rasheen Ramsey of Warrender in 8. So Kerry Ann Payne will be the one to watch here. Of course, we're looking to Rio and the open water events where she's such an experienced campaigner. So this is very much part of the process to try and get her there and then get her performing strongly there. She did swim this event in the British Championships last month and was bronze medalist. 8:34 she did over in Glasgow against the 8:37 she's been entered on here. And she'll definitely have a very clear plan for this race in her head. And if there's one swimmer you'd be expected to be able to execute against that plan, it's Kerry Ann. She's been swimming with the Warrender program now for a good while, really since the London Olympics. So the last 4 years. And it's been fantastic having her here up in Scotland. Such a professional, such an example to her younger Warrender teammates, with a terrific work ethic and the persistence to want to keep it going. Very much the senior swimmer in this group, 29 this year. She's some 10 years on everybody else, with the exception of Orla Adams, just 8 years on Orla. Second place in lane 3, Meg Finnan, another of the strong distance swimmers from East Kilbride. Meg, Gold Squad member, silver medalist in the Commonwealth Youth Games for Scotland at the beginning of this season over in Samoa. That's a nice trip to have. Not too many people get to see Samoa in your teens. I bet that was an enjoyable experience. Then it's Nikki Miller and Sophie Smith contesting third as we see Kerry-Ann go through 300, 3:14, around about a 65.5 pace. Entry time for Kerry-Ann 8:37, as I said, 8:34. She did at the British Championships. Don't think she's going to be quite as fast as that here today, but she's not going to be too far away, I don't think. Maybe 8:40-ish, perhaps slightly faster than that. Certainly, you think no doubt she's going to take this one. Meg Finnan on her own in second place. You see they're going through the turn. So the race really is about third here. You saw them just coming to the turn. Nikki Miller about 4/10 up on Sophie Smith. Both of them youth squad members. Nikki, National Age Group champion. Sophie, National Age Group champion. 16-year-old and 15-year-olds respectively. Halfway mark then for Kerry-Ann for 18:65. Again, a 64.5 pace. So right on the money. So she's looking maybe to wind this up pretty well in the second half here. Meg Finnan has a fairly good gap, 7 seconds over that race for third place, and still nothing in that. Sophie Smith this time getting the touch, but they're out of your shot as we see Kerry-Ann Payne coming up to the 500 mark, 5:23.60. It's just down to 65 that time. And you can see just the extent of her lead, absolutely massive. Shame in a way that Hannah isn't in this one, because she would have given Kerry-Ann a run for her money, you would think. But she's not, so Kerry-Ann having to do it all on her own here. We'll be working hard to try and maintain that steady pace and then try and wind it up in these closing stages. Still, you can see that tight race for third. Sophie Smith and Nikki Miller. Reminder, of course, that we'll have finals after this. I think presentations first, probably, for these distance events, but after that we'll go to our sprint finals, A and B finals. 6:28.05. So back to the 64.5 pace there. And we'll see whether she can now really start to work that pace. That's what she'll be aiming to do. Fish from what she does, open water, completely different conditions, has to cope, of course, with the rough and tumble of competing swimmers all around her, grappling with her sometimes. The tactics of the feeding stations. It's a whole different kettle of fish, but you've got to have that fitness in place. This is about, so coming to the bell. 100 to go, 7:32.77. Again, another 64.5. So at the British Championships, so a 62 final 100 would match that, and that would be a good achievement at this stage. So coming up to the final turn, I'll tell you that she holds at 8:34.27. In fact, she improved that 8:34.03 in the British Championships. And 20 meters to go. All right, I don't think she's going to be quite as fast as she was in Glasgow, but it's very, very close. And this has been a great performance. A really solid swim. So, very nice stuff. Meg Finnan there coming in for second. Of everybody else in second, 8:56. And it will be Sophie Smith winning that very tight contest for third, but in the end, around 4 or 5 meters clear. Takes third, 9:09.49, with Nikki Miller behind her, 9:12.42. Hayley Duthie, Orla Adam complete